You ever see one of those headlines that makes you stop scrolling and say, wait, him? Yeah, this one's a jaw dropper. A top dog in the Caribbean legal world, a man with real power, influence, and courtroom clout, has just been taken down in one of the biggest sexual assault cases we've seen in the region lately. This ain't street gossip. This is a man who helped shape justice in Trinidad and Tobago, and now he's the one answering to it. Let's dive in. Prominent attorney and Tobago Business Chamber President Martin George has been charged with grievous sexual assault and indecent assault. This man wasn't just passing time in chambers. Martin George is the face of authority in Tobago's legal and business world. That title alone tells you this ain't no small headline. This is one of the biggest names in the courtroom, now sitting on the other side of the law. According to the information, he was arrested from his office Martin George and Company, attorneys at law located at Port of Spain in Trinidad. Phew, imagine being in your suit, sipping coffee, about to meet a client, and the police pull up right there at your own office. That's not just embarrassing, that's humbling. You know they're not playing when they come grab you on your turf. The arrest was reportedly made on Tuesday during a police exercise held between 2:40 p.m. and 5 p.m., and it was led by Inspector Dinesh Durga. That's a whole operation, not just a drive-by pickup. When police give your arrest a 2.5-hour window with named officers and a schedule, they're treating it like a mission. Not a random grab, a strategic takedown. They dotted every I on this one. Police confirmed that charges against Martin George follows months of investigations directed by DCP Suzette Martin, Senior Sup Raymond Tom, and ASP Ramesh Sudin, and were laid based on legal advice from DPP Roger Gaspard on July 2nd, 2025. Now pause here. That's months of investigation with names we all recognize, some of the most senior officers in the country. And legal advice from DPP Roger Gaspard? This ain't no rush job. When the DPP gives the green light and these names are attached, it means there's weight behind this case. They clearly didn't move unless they felt they had something solid. Notably, George is also a former member of the Police Service Commission. The suspect practiced in both civil and criminal courts. Now this is where it gets real messy. George wasn't just in the system, he helped run it. A former Police Service Commission member? That's like being on the board of ethics and then getting caught with your hands in the cookie jar. And he's been active in both criminal and civil courts, so he knows exactly how the system works, which loopholes, which defenses, how to delay, how to distract. That makes this charge even heavier. In the official release, the Trinidad and Tobago Police assured that throughout the investigation process, a number of consultations were made with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Again, they're telling us flat out, we didn't move without the DPP. That's their way of saying we took our time. We checked everything. This isn't flimsy. It also tells you the state trying to protect itself from backlash. They knew charging a man this connected would raise eyebrows. The victim is now scheduled to appear before a master of the High Court today, July 9th, 2025. This is the next big step. The victim's appearance before the High Court master means we're about to see what evidence is really on the table. But no matter what comes out, the fact it got this far, that alone says something. This is a developing story. And that means we should be watching this closely, not just for updates, but for how the system handles someone with this much status. Now look, this case reminds me a lot of what we just saw with Diddy. Huge name, huge influence, and boom, accused, charged, and canceled before the ink even dried. It's a dangerous world out here for powerful men, and sometimes they're guilty. But other times, the damage is done before the facts ever see daylight. Let's not forget names like Chris Brown, who got publicly dragged, only to be proven innocent when the woman admitted she lied. Or Brian Banks, man had an NFL career lined up, destroyed by a false rape claim. Years of his life lost, and the accuser just walked away with a settlement. Even Johnny Depp, painted as the monster, till audio proved he was the one being abused. But it took him years and millions to even start cleaning his name. That's why we gotta talk about balance. Believing victims doesn't mean convicting people on sight. It means taking every case seriously, but not blindly. Because when the system's already biased, especially against men, even a whisper can be a wrecking ball. This case with Martin George, It could be a major test, not just for the court, but for us. How we react, how we judge, and how we wait for truth before jumping to cancel somebody. I'll be keeping a close eye on this one. And if you want updates like this with no fluff and straight real talk, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming next. And drop your thoughts below. Do you think justice still works when the accused is rich and powerful? Or is it a lose-lose from the start?
Years ago, Tobago used to be able to say, well, it's Trinidad that has the crime problem. It has come home to roost. It is being nurtured and it's festering in Tobago. And we need to put a stop to it, and the TTPS needs to take the charge and take leadership in that regard.
He is calling for a more thorough inspection process at the port, suggesting that vehicles should be examined with a greater level of rigor. Mr. George says he wants to see a greater activation of the TTPS motto, protect and serve.